How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to Rangers Rundown. An exciting game last night. I am recording this a day late. They are doing their West Coast swing, so the game didn't start until 9 o'clock my time, which means I was up until about 11:30 watching that game, and at that point, I just figured I'll save the video for today. So next day, here we go. Let's talk about the Seattle game. I don't have a magnet for Seattle yet. The package of little cards that I got was made before Seattle was in the league, so that's on my to-do list, is to find a Seattle magnet. But this was the Rangers franchise first ever game in Seattle against the Kraken, and they come out with a win. So let's talk about it. Reeves still on IR with a lower body injury, and Tenorti in the lineup tonight instead of Lundqvist. I'm sure they're just resting Lundqvist. He's still a young kid. He's getting used to the NHL. He's going to need some time off every now and then, so Tenorti steps up. He hasn't played with the Rangers since opening night against the Caps. Lineup: Kreider, Zibanejad, Gaudreau, Panarin, Strome, Kakko, Lafreniere, Hudel, Blais, Hunt, McKegg, and Rooney. Lindgren, Fox, Miller, Trouba, Nemeth, and Tenorti with Shesterkin in net. So we get to the first period. 45 seconds in, Gaudreau has a deflection chance. Wouldn't go in, but at 3 minutes and 38 seconds, Kreider would score his 7th goal of the year in 9 games. Kreider has 7 goals in 9 games, probably one of the best starts to a season in his career. Obviously, this streak is going to lose steam at some point, but we obviously hope it's later rather than sooner. He just came streaking in. It was a great shot right over the glove. He just picked the top shelf. We didn't think it went in at first, or at least some people didn't. He just ripped it in. It bounced off the back near the camera and came right out, so some people thought it was off the crossbar, but the ref knew, pointed right to the goal. Rangers up 1-0 early in the first period. Strong start to the game. About 6.5 minutes in, the shots are 3-1 for the Rangers. Blais is throwing hits. He's doing Blais things. 9 minutes in, Shesterkin had a couple of really good saves. He stood tall last night. 10:20, Kreider had a breakaway, and he is just, when he gets going, he is so fast. He made a defensive play at the blue line, and he just ripped past the Seattle defenders, and I thought he was going to have his second goal of the period. I really did, but it wouldn't go in. 12:15, Miller had a shot from the blue line that went off the post. Grubauer didn't even see it. Didn't even react until it was too late. So if that puck had been a few inches to the left, it would have been 2-0 Rangers. Fox went to the locker room in the middle of this first period. He took a hard spill earlier in front of the Rangers net. I think he came down and he either got high-sticked in the jaw, or when he came down on the ice, he kind of smacked his jaw on the ice. He was kind of doing this a little bit. He would come back, so no troubles. Great save on Schwartz by Shesterkin. Seattle, really good pressure towards the end of this first period. 4 minutes left, Fox is back, so he only missed a little bit of that first period. Kreider had a deflection shortly after. Fourth line had a great shift towards the end of this first period, so still nice to see the fourth line chipping in, creating those offensive chances, because if the Rangers have any shot of making the playoffs and doing any sort of damage this season, they're going to need production from all 4 lines. That's a necessity. So it's nice to see the fourth line chipping in still. Shesterkin, a deflection save. Gord got punchy, and Tanev looks crazy when he's mad. I mean, we all know the meme of his picture with the Penguins that he recreated with Seattle, but he's got crazy eyes. Oof. Shots 9-8 in favor of Seattle by the end of this first period, so Seattle did come back and start shooting a lot more. We get into the second period. Seattle starts the period with a couple of strong shifts. I was worried that this game was going to get away from the Rangers. 3:36, the lines come together after a whistle. Tanev gets an interference penalty. He pushed Lindgren very dangerously into the boards. It was not a clean looking play. But he does get the interference call. He goes to the penalty box. Seattle had a very good penalty kill. Rangers were not able to set anything up on that power play. 5:47, Hunt took a hooking penalty, so shortly after Seattle kills off that penalty, the Rangers take one. Hunt takes a hooking penalty, lines come together again. You can see there was some animosity brewing between these two teams, and if the Rangers develop a nice little rivalry, a little West Coast rivalry with Seattle, I would not complain about that at all. Seattle had some good pressure the first minute of the power play, but the Rangers would push back for the second half. They had a nice 3-on-2 chance that didn't really amount to anything, but it's nice to see them still kicking in shorthanded chances every now and then. Halfway through the period, it's mostly spent in the Rangers zone. The Rangers did not have a good second period last night. Just about halfway through the period, 10:02, Shesterkin robs Schwartz again with the pad. He loses his stick, and Trouba has a 3.5-minute shift in the second half of this second period. Trouba was on the ice for a long time. 13.5 minutes in, still mostly Seattle pressure. And then at 13:46, Eberle would score just a ridiculous backhand shot from the face-off dot. He just does the spinorama and backhands it right past Shesterkin. It was a really nice-looking goal. I gotta give it to him. 15:35, Tenorti would take a cross-checking penalty, but before that penalty could be killed off, Järnkrok would take a slashing penalty. So it's 4-on-4 for about 30 seconds. The 4-on-4, nothing happens, so the Rangers get a power play for what they would think would be a minute and a half, but the power play only lasts for about 20 seconds because the Rangers would take their first of two too-many-men penalties of the evening. So it's 4-on-4 for a minute and 10 seconds. Then Seattle has a power play for 50 seconds towards the end of that second period. Rooney and McKegg had a 2-on-1 in the final seconds, but if you had to pick any two players to be in a 2-on-1, Rooney and McKegg are not high on that list, so that didn't amount to anything. 2 shots in the period for the Rangers. It was not a good period for them. Barely any pressure. So we go into the third period. Rangers start with 2 really strong shifts. They come out into this third period hungry for a win. 3 minutes in, it's all Rangers. No great chances, but just constant pressure in the offensive zone. And if you're not going to score, you at least want the puck. 5:27, Rangers would take their second too-many-men penalty of the evening, and I'm thinking to myself, they need to kill this off to keep any sort of momentum that they've built in the beginning of this third period. And sure enough, they would kill it off. Couple of good saves for Shesterkin. At this point, they're 21 for their last 22 on the penalty kill. Say what you want about the Rangers' power play, which it's been looking better as of late, but was abysmal through those first 6 games. Their penalty kill is solid, one of the most solid in the league. Halfway through the period, shots are 12-27 in favor of Seattle for the game. Seattle is mercilessly outshooting the Rangers. Too many turnovers. Rangers can't really get anything through the middle of the ice. They're turning it over, and Seattle's just taking advantage. Luckily, Shesterkin is just in God mode. Seattle pushing hard, Shesterkin standing strong. And then at 12:10, Fox would score a beauty of a goal from the middle of the offensive zone. Shesterkin made a huge save, and then Fox had a long outlet pass to Panarin, who took it into the zone and was patient. He was in the zone, he kept it to himself, he let Fox come in late to the forecheck, set it right up for Fox. Fox rips it right over the shoulder of Grubauer. It was a beauty of a goal. Puts the Rangers up 2-1 late in the third period. Very strong couple of shifts, around 5 minutes left. 2 minutes left, they pull Grubauer to the bench. Seattle almost scores, and then at 18:21, Gaudreau would score his second empty netter of the season, his third goal of the season, but second empty netter, and that would do it for the Rangers, 3-1. Grubauer to the bench again shortly after that empty net goal, and the puck bounces in the crease. The last minute and a half, 2 minutes of this game, Seattle almost scored a couple of times. It was scary, but Rangers would pull it off with a 3-1 win to start this 4-game road trip. The Rangers swept their previous 4-game road trip. Let's see if they can do it again. They're back in action tomorrow night against Vancouver, and that game starts at 10 p.m. So I will probably watch the first period of that game tomorrow night, and then after work Wednesday, I'll finish that game and put the video up for the Vancouver game on Wednesday, so be on the lookout for that. End of the game, shots 18-33 in favor of Seattle. Face-off 45.6% for the Rangers. Power play went 0 for 2, hits 26-21 in favor of the Rangers, and blocks 20-13 also in favor of the Rangers. The trivia question of the evening: who holds the Rangers record for single game power play goals? Chris Kreider had 2 power play goals the other night, so this question was based off of that happening, and I'll give you a second. Didn't know the answer. Apparently, it was on March 13th, 1954. Camille Henry had 4 power play goals against Detroit. So there you go. Kreider was halfway there. I don't think we'll see that record broken anytime soon. It would have to take a tremendous performance by somebody. But, I mean, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Kreider. Maybe Zibanejad, but I don't think we'll see that record broken anytime soon. But if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next rundown.